Let's just take an honest look at what happened yesterday for Nebraska, okay? Just you and me, microphone's here, pretend it's not here, pretend that you're not watching this on YouTube right now, though if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Really appreciate that. Nebraska 27, Michigan 30 in the Bussin' Bowl. Tough. Because it felt like going into this one, like, hey, this is the one now that Nebraska gets. This is the one, as a fan base, you've been fiending for. You've been going to bed at night and sing this one in your dreams, and then you wake up, this thing happens, and it's like, dang, yet again, one score. There's going to be temptation to go back to the narrative of, oh, Nebraska, one score, can't find a way to get it done. We'll address that here in a second, but again, let's just take an honest look at what happened yesterday for Nebraska, okay? Just you and me, microphone's here, pretend it's not here, pretend that you're not watching this on YouTube right now, though if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Really appreciate that. Nebraska 27, Michigan 30 in the Bussin' Bowl. Tough. Because it felt like going into this one, like, hey, this is the one now that Nebraska gets. This is the one, as a fan base, you've been fiending for. You've been going to bed at night and sing this one in your dreams, and then you wake up, this thing happens, and it's like, dang, yet again, one score. There's going to be temptation to go back to the narrative of, oh, Nebraska, one score, can't find a way to get it done. We'll address that here in a second. But again, if you're a Nebraska fan or a college football sicko, make sure you are subscribed. It's college football year-round. Appreciate you for that. So let's go bad news into good news into looking forward. All right? Sound like a deal? Bad news. To beat the superior talent rosters in your conference, to beat the Michigans, which I think right now is a superior talent outfit, to beat the Ohio States, Penn States, Oregons, so on and so forth, you got to have another dimension. Like, you can't be a 1.4 yards per carry outfit. You just can't do it. And that's not breaking news. I promise you Matt Rhule knows that. I promise you Dylan Rhule knows that. The offensive line knows that. We all understand that. You cannot get into a game with that team and that talent roster and give yourself zero margin for error, which is what happened. Like Dylan Rhule, we'll talk about him in a second. He played pretty well. I know the 7 sacks isn't ideal, but like you go 30 for 41, get to 300 yards plus passing, made a couple of throws that I think allowed Nebraska to be in the spot they were in this game. Like I know there's more you need from him for sure, but you can't have 1.5 yards per carry and expect to win football games against those kind of teams. Like you have to play a perfect game, and Nebraska very obviously did not do that. The other bad news is got a couple different bullet points behind it, but line of scrimmage play, to go back to what we said about 1.4 yards per carry, you got to protect Dylan Rhule better. Now, Dylan Rhule also, to put the blame on him, got to get rid of the football. Like, I appreciate what he can do when the play breaks down and the awkward arm angles and the off-platform throws. Like, there's a couple of plays that he makes where you're like, hey, yes, that's what we need. That's why we brought you here. Dylan Rhule, special talent. Let's go. But when you have 7 sacks, it's not all on the offensive line. And we're watching the broadcast copy, so it's tough to totally tell. Have to imagine Michigan and Wink Martindale doing a good job on the back end. But like, there's a couple of plays now where it's like, hey, Dylan, love you, but we got to just throw the football away at some point too. Even if you're having a tough time on the back end and Michigan's giving us some problems, just get rid of the football. Like 2nd and 10 is a lot better than 2nd and 17. Just get rid of the football. So that's another thing he's got to progress in. As talented as he is, that's the next step for my money. So line of scrimmage was the difference. I mean, allowing 286 yards on the ground, not a great way to live. Running for 1.4 yards a carry, again, not a great way to live. That is the bad news, along with the fact that you lost the football game again by 1 score at the crib. The good news is going to sound tough to hear because it's on the filter of a loss, but just roll with me here. It's going to also sound kind of like some copium, but just roll with this. You're seeing the close losses, I believe at least, shift from the middle class of the Big Ten to the upper class of the Big Ten. And I still define Michigan, a year removed from a national championship under Jim Harbaugh, as the upper class of the Big Ten, at least relative to their talent roster. Now, are they, going to be in the college football playoff this year? We'll see. But I think that you are shifting from losing in 1-score games when Matt Rhule got there to the Minnesotas of the world to now, you would hope, playing a lot tighter with the upper end of the Big Ten in general. Okay, so that plus the fact that what I said already about Dylan Rhule, I think as much as you want to pull your hair out sometimes with the sacks that he takes, like, dude is a good quarterback. I'm not telling you he's the best quarterback in the conference. I'm not telling you he's winning the Heisman Trophy. But I think Dylan Rhule, to say this again, the plays that he made and the throws that he made, kept you in that game. Like the Hail Mary, I know it's a Hail Mary, but still making that throw kept you in that game. The throw to Ja'Cory Barney on the first touchdown pass kept you in that game. So it can't be all on him, and he definitely has to be better. But I think that what he is at quarterback and what he was in this game still provides, to me at least, a good amount of optimism with the Nebraska offense going forward. So here's the outlook going forward here, all right? Good news, bad news, we've covered that. Here's the outlook going forward. Even in a loss, even with how it looked at times ugly against Michigan, to have that final score, I am convinced that Nebraska can have an October that sets themselves up within November to have a shot at a college football playoff berth. Okay? Now, we said this. October is going to be a lot of the middle class in the Big Ten. Michigan State, at Maryland, at Minnesota, Northwestern, all teams that you could see Nebraska being in a close game. At least 3 of those 4. We'll see about Northwestern. But 3 of those 4 really could be one-score games. If Nebraska can find a way to go undefeated through those games, they set themselves up for a November where you have USC, at Penn State, Iowa are your trickiest games in that stretch. You go 2-1 in that stretch, you're a college football playoff team. So you would have liked to be set up to go 1-2 in November and be a college football playoff team. Should you have beat Michigan? Guess what? Didn't happen. I still don't think the book is out on Nebraska in November just yet. I still think that what they showed in that spot with what they can be as a football team, it's still very much so there. Still very much so there. So I understand the thought is, another one-score loss. I think that looking at the final score, while it's inevitable, I mean, it's unavoidable. Like, that's what it's about, final score. But the way that Nebraska is progressing, still, it's a couple plays here, a couple plays there, but I think that the way they're doing it is improving, and I think that's what's showing up. So to wrap it up, I think that's attainable, a college football playoff berth for Nebraska. I'm not predicting it. I didn't predict it before the season. But if they can take this game and fix those errors and build off of this as a hey, that's a good Michigan football team, like, we're going to be better from that loss, it's all in front of them. It's all still in front of them. So, again, still questions about the line of scrimmage. Rhule's got to be better, but it's there. Nebraska fans, let me know your thoughts on this. Not trying to sell you any copium, but this is my thought on this. Let me know your thoughts on this. Instagram, Twitter, at JD PicKell, comment section, all that. Make sure you are subscribed. Caden Smith on the 1s and the 2s. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We'll keep this party rolling, and we will see y'all next time.